Sound Vault.
Hello and welcome, my wonderful children everywhere. Because it's such a lovely, lovely day, we've popped outside to do this recording and we're sitting by the beautiful riverway where the grasses are shimmering and we're sitting surrounded by beautiful flowers. I'm sure you are looking forward to your summer holidays after working so hard at school. We are very happy to have a special guest today who is on her way to the airport for a holiday in the sun. It is our own Gilly Stewart, who has written and created these fantastic stories brought to you on Tale Waves. Gilly, hi and welcome. It's lovely to meet you at last. Hi Hetty, what a great pleasure it is for me to meet you too. You have a brilliant programme. Thank you so much for presenting my stories to the hundreds of marvellous children out there. So, tell us about today's tale, and I am thrilled that you, the author, will be reading it for us. Well, I've always worried and cared about the amount of litter we leave behind us every day. In the oceans, on the streets, in the rivers. It's horrific, and yet so easily avoided. All we have to do is take it home and recycle. So, this is a story about selfishness, laziness, greed, wonder, hope, and the need to protect and save our beautiful and precious planet. Let's do it together. A rebirth of man's love for his world. This tale is called Junk. Tinger and Plaktak, two of the sky gods, were taking one of their several journeys around planet Earth, which they did every day. They were deep in conversation, seriously so, about the terrible state of the mountains of litter and junk, which was growing higher and higher across the surface of the earth. I cannot believe the selfishness and greed of these earthlings. The plastic poisons, the atmosphere and the tins are choking the creatures of the oceans, said Tinger. I can. Plastic has exploded beyond imagination by the bigoted, bulging money pockets of the manufacturers, replied Plaktak. But what can we do about it, Tak? We must summon together the sky gods of the universe, cried Plaktak. Tinger, who was cleaning his teeth on his claws whilst they travelled at great speed, let out a choking sound, which reverberated across the sky. What? All of them? There are hundreds of them, thousands even, cried Tinger. Ha! Drastic measures, drastic to vanquish the plastic. I'll take care of that, said Plaktak. But there isn't a big enough bin to dispose of the tin in the whole of existence, moaned Tinger. But Plaktak was determined to succeed. His body was covered in scales of multitudinous types of plastic, and his head shaped from green bottles which clashed every time he opened his mouth to speak. They weighed heavily upon his existence, but he bore them with pride. Tinger shone, magnificent, metallically mesmeric, dressed in a glistening garment of tins, foil, and broken-down bridges. He had steel appeal. His head lunged forward, forged by the greatest of heavenly blacksmiths. It was the shape of the famous sword Excalibur, and his eyes were carved from the most precious and rarest of jewels. As they carried on around the heavens, Plaktak turned his weary head towards Tinger and said, This is a dangerous mission, for we, or one of us, must head towards the sun and then circle it from north to south 100 times. Sadly, because my composite is made up of mainly plastic, I would not survive. But the sky gods of other planets do not have this battle we have with litter, junk, and pollution, said Tinger. That may be so, but they have their problems. Toxic gases, fierce winds, eruptions, and reformation, etc. But most of all, they have the knowledge, cried Blacktail. Then I must make this journey. If I do this, will it summon them forth? Absolutely, for the sun will dazzle the darkness of the sky as it strikes the surface of your body. You will become a brave beacon for the survival of mankind. Come, we must rest for a while before your long and arduous journey. These two close and ancient friends made their way to the moon and wrapped their bodies around it, holding claws. The sound of the universe as they slept was still and silent, but even upon the surface of the moon, the stench of earthly pollution hung heavily above the craters and deep into the valleys. So far skyward had the poisons of the earth travelled. Wars raged there, men killed for money, lies and deceit hung darkly through every inch of breath. Rivers bulging with junk could find no escape to flow freely. Cars stood bumper to bumper, and the banks had crashed into non-existence. It was as if Armageddon really was spreading its ugliness everywhere, strangling the hope and love which had once poured from the hearts of mankind. It was a desperate quagmire of fury. Yet, out of the darkness, there will always shine a divine spirit, young, truthful, and seeking a quest for that which appears to be lost. He was not. He was called Aletheia, which means truth. He had taken his little sister, Armanda, which means worthy of love, and fled to a mountain high above the forests of Dawnland in northern Europe. Here he had hunted and picked berries with which to feed themselves. Close by was one of the few fresh water springs left upon the planet. As Armanda fell asleep in his arms, he looked up at the moon and whispered in her ear, "There is hope, little one. I know that someone, something, is about to change this world. We must believe. If we do not, what is there?" Aletheia kissed his sister's hand. In the confusion of war, their parents had gone off searching for them. But this brave-hearted young boy knew they would be together again at some time in their lives. He sat motionless, waiting for something, not knowing what it was. But as he looked at the moon once more, his eye caught a glimpse of a flash of light. "There," said Aletheia, "a little light of hope, dear sister." And they huddled together, wrapped in a cloak of happiness, and slept, lucky to be alive in this fractured labyrinth of existence. Of course, that flash of light was the garment of Tinger, catching the rays of the sun as he stirred. This was the day of reckoning. He looked towards the great burning star and nervously released his hold upon the moon and the grip of his dear friend, who was still sleeping. Blacktail must not see him go, and like a true honourable hero, he slipped away silently, ready to fulfill this noble deed and try to save the beautiful planet Earth. He headed cautiously at first towards the sun, and then, with a flash of metallic magnetic energy, shot forth across the heavens, growing hotter and hotter as he approached the great star. Along his journey, he collided several times with huge pieces of space station debris and junk, which had been abandoned to float and crash aimlessly against meandering asteroids. Ah! Oh! Ow! Ee! Ow! See, it is not only the Earth who is guilty of destruction and neglect. This we are all guilty of. Soon the universe will die by disappearing into a black hole of disgrace. Tinger let out a burning, painful sound as he twisted upwards to avoid an asteroid. Ow! Ow! Ah! May the very God of creation forgive each living being. I am come, O great star of our universe, to seek your energy and guidance, and to call forth the wise and powerful gods of the other planets, cried Tinger, as he embarked upon this dangerous circling of the sun. From north to south 100 times, and he remembered that he must do this in 30 minutes. So turning his huge tail at great propelling speed, he appeared as a supersonic silver light shooting up and down the face of the great star. So, crazy tin god, you dare to play games with me, the greatest star, giver of life to your planet. Be gone. I cannot, shouted Tinger. I have only 30 minutes in which to save my planet. I must summon up the sky gods of the other planets. Then, why didn't you say so? Stand aside. Stop your whizzing. I will call them forth, shouted the great star. There came such sounds of energy, throttling fortitude, weeping cries, driving burning acceleration, bashing but hesitant toleration, calculated caution, belting melting moans, warning winds, silent servitude, wondrous wisdom, and defiant draconian leadership. And from within this energy, the cries of the ocean whales upon the earth leapt high into the heavens of hope, pleading that the wisdom of these great gods would release them from their pain. Thank you, humans. There is hope for you yet. We are mammals. We are one, cried the whale. The sky gods laughed and moaned, but strongly driven, leapt across the skies of planet Earth. Hear me, O great sky gods of the universe. I command thee to bring together the sky junk cast out from the space stations. Then there we can gather the junk of planet Earth and destroy its negative energy and ugliness. I am happy to help you, for the gases of my planet grow stronger, cried Venus sky god. My planet is dry. I long to see life upon it, said Mars the sky god. My world is full of gases, winds, and no life as we know it, said Jupiter's sky god. I long to help you. I have always envied your lifestyle. Now we are one. Energy, thought, strength, and able to help save the most beautiful planet in our universe, cried the impish Mercury sky god. I long also to see the blue oceans of the earth once more, and smell its pure air. Ah, sighed Saturn, sky god. Colours swirled in great abundance. The skies above the earth split itself between light and darkness. The sky gods roared, knowing that what they were about to achieve was ecstatic, fantastic, and beyond belief. The dolphins, the whales, the mountains, the rivers and oceans of earth cried out, full of love and hope. The sky gods touched each other. The sound was forceful, metallic, a gripping, universal unity, as their bodies, mostly composed of gases and water, connected in a language of cosmic, magnificent movement. Then, with the grace and dignity of age and wisdom, each sky god took his place around the fragile earth, calling out with great reverence, "Powerful winds and raging rain, free this earth from choking pain. Cleanse the seas, the streets so grey. Blow the poisonous clouds away. Lift the garbage through the sky. Do not let this planet die." The humans looked upwards to the heavens, fearful, but with trustful belief at this most extraordinary phenomenon, which was filling the sky with electronic lightning. Slowly they laid themselves upon the ground, hearts beating, not knowing if they were facing total oblivion. And there, in the middle of this swirling, whirring, exiting skyward filth, junk, and human realization of their wicked selfishness against the beauty of Mother Nature, stood Alethea, the young innocent boy. "They have come! I always believed they would," he shouted joyously. "Cleanse us, O great sky gods! Do what you must, restore our future once more, and hear me, O callous, hard-hearted humans, learn from this, for each time you drop just one piece of litter or junk, the earth sheds a tear, and its pain is unbearable. And what do we think will happen to all of this poison?" The green sky god of planet Neptune, who was shaped like a dragon, stretched his long neck earthward. Looking into Alethea's eyes, and said, "Through the eyes of a trusting and innocent child, you, Alethea, the knowledge of light shines forth. It is known across the universe as Puritana." The space station junk linked into a mass of metal. The sky gods sucked the filth through great tornadic chasms into the bellies of the junk station. The energy was so vast that it almost stopped the rotation of the earth. "Behold, we, the great sky gods of the universe, banish this abhorrent mess made by man, for it is said that within ugliness one may also find beauty." "Let it be so," cried the ancient sky god of Uranus. And so it was. The poison, the filth, and the litter was wiped from the face of the earth, and as the sky gods journeyed homewards, a great rainbow covered the heavens, and the space station junk opened wide, pouring forth trillions and trillions of sparkling stardust particles, a symbol of happiness and a new beginning. But the child Alethea was never to be seen again, for he, just for a moment, was the beacon of goodness and truth. We have much to learn from him, wherever he may be. But humans, look inside yourselves. Perhaps he dwells within your soul. Gosh, Gilly, what a tale! It leaves you feeling as if you've carried the weight of the world's worries and junk upon your shoulders yourself. Wow! Really, wow! Do you know, Hetty, ever since I was a little child, I've been picking up litter after people, and from people of all ages. I feel very strongly about this subject. The sea creatures are choking and dying from plastic garbage, Rats run across the streets from the gutters, looking for bins full of fast food waste and cans. They are everywhere. Then there's pollution, chemical on the fields, on our crops. Oh, where does it all end? I truly hope, with a rainbow in the heavens and clean blue oceans, and to make this possible, we must stand side by side and think before we drop, and reuse all the time. I'm confident our future younger generations will do this. Poor Mother Earth, she must be so weary sometimes. Oh, Gilly, I admire your conviction. Oh, I can honestly say I have never dropped litter in my life. Well, it's been a joy having you here. Shall I say the farewell today, Hetty? I'd like that, and I'm sure the children would as well. Well, my lovely, lovely children everywhere, this is Hetty and Gilly saying, keep listening, keep reading, be happy, but most of all, be very, very good. I love you all.
Soundful.